looks like Bob is now taking over the lead though in our pool.
Bob has?
Yep. He has 330 points. You have 320. I have 290.
Sons of bitches.
It's still early. Still plenty of ball games to be played.
That is true. That is true. You know what though? Now that Dylan's brought that issue up, I'm wondering if because
You know what you didn't. You know what we didn't do. Are you going to do housekeeping? We just jumped right into sports.
That is true. That is true. All right. So for the listeners out there that are already on, again, apologize for that issue. Now that's taken care of. Let's do another quick start here, Todd. Just now that since we got the issue figured out, we don't have to stop anything. If that audio is going to be unusable for the first part, that's more than fine. We went on and on about pull tabs, so not missing too much.
Who doesn't like talking about pull tabs?
I mean, we definitely do. We just covered 15 minutes of it. And since you're a Michigander, at heart, I know it's a big Midwest thing, but so yeah, let's re-kick this off again, guys. Tonight you have Cory and Todd. Bob is out again, supposedly at March Madness. Again, this year, Todd believes that he definitely is. But anyways, we had a bit of an audio issue, but we're back now, and we got that issue cleared up. So, Todd, how are you, sir?
I am March Madness marvelous, my man.
Dude, it is that time of year. It is that time of year.
Indeed.
And especially with the big win from Michigan today, huge win.
Big win, and like I said, the Big Ten is showing off. I mean, it's still weird for me to see like Oregon and like, oh, they're in the Big Ten. But yeah, it is great to see the Big Ten doing well. Although I must say, Wisconsin is not. BYU looks a cut above Wisconsin right now. It's still early, so hopefully they can make a comeback. But yeah, the rest of the Big Ten really, really solid. Purdue solid. Illinois looks really, really good. So yeah, and Sparty, they played Bryant, and the thing that always happens, right? Those underdog teams hang in early, but they rarely have the depth to kind of keep going. And Michigan, geez, I think they're like 9 or 10 players deep, and that's just hard for any team to keep up with. So the Bryant University represented very, very well, but Izzo's got a real deal team that can go deep into the tournament. In fact, I think I have them going to the Final Four. I have them beating Michigan.
Okay, not bad.
Even
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, even though Michigan won the Big Ten tournament, I saw Sparty dismantle Michigan just before the tournament began. And again, and the thing that's really amazing about Izzo's team this year is that team is the worst 3-point shooting team in the Big Ten, and they're still scoring. They're one of the top scoring teams in the Big Ten, so they're getting it done without threes. And again, the fact that they're able to go 5 deep on their bench and not have any letdowns shows that they got a real deal team.
Definitely, most definitely. Yeah, and before we forget again, so for housekeeping, you're here with Todd and Cory on the Schnozzcast. For those of you that are first-time listeners, welcome. Thank you for joining. We are down a man tonight, but again, we're happy for you to listen. Check the episodes out. Anytime you want to go back and listen to an episode, we're on all the audio platforms, Spotify, where's the YouTube? Well, YouTube audio and visual. Why can't I think of something? Apple Podcast, another big one. Any
Amazon?
streaming I think we're on Amazon.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure we are.
There you go.
Yeah, any streaming platform that you get your podcast from, we're on it at Schnozzcast. And for the video portion, you want to see what we look like, how dumb we look.
Speak for yourself.
Hey, I thought I could speak for both of us there, but well, I apologize, Todd. I apologize. yeah, check out our social media. Check out the videos on YouTube. We're on Instagram. If you want to get a hold of us, feel free to send us a DM on Instagram. That's checked on a daily basis. And any questions, concerns, topics you might want to talk about. Again, especially March Madness. You have something to say about March Madness? Todd will be more than happy to answer it for you.
Any second, any time, I am ready to go. And look us up on Chat GPT or your favorite AI.
That too. Or you can email us at schnozzcast@gmail.com, and we will reply to your email and potentially talk about it on an episode and potentially live. So I think that's I think that's good for housekeeping. Did you have anything else to add?
I don't have anything else to add. I think that's some nice housekeeping. Nice job, Cory. I love it.
Short and simple, Todd. Short and simple, like you. There it is.
See, it was on the tip of my tongue, and I was like, nope, I'm not going to do it.
I knew it was, and that's when I knew I had to capitalize.
I was like, nope, I'm not going to do it.
See, I guess I kind of made you trip on yourself there because
nope, I was being good.
I know you were thinking about it. But
yep, that was a softball that I had to let go over the plate.
And I knocked it out of the park, Todd.
So what's new, my man?
Oh,
besides March Madness.
You know what? I won't even get into it. It was gonna be a stupid tirade. Nothing, man. Nothing. Just living life. And dude, I don't know about you guys out there, but we had a couple days where it was like 70, 71. You're like, oh, spring is finally here. And then today went outside and it was snowing again and 38 degrees. So yep. That's the Midwest for you.
Fits and starts. We've had similar. I think we had a couple of really nice days. The nice part is it's been raining for us. Today was actually a nice day. Tomorrow, I guess Mary said it's going to rain. But Monday, Tuesday, we're going to be in the 70s and sunny. So spring's getting ready to be here. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, dude, it looks really nice out behind you right now, actually.
Yeah, like I said, it's clearing up pretty nice. We went for a nice long walk with the dogs. It's beautiful out here in Washington. Cory, I gotta tell you something. I took some time and listened to our show with Girl Dinner.
Boy,
and reviewed the tape. And I really, really like the show. The one thing I must say though is I was a bit offended. We dropped some tasty verbal jams out there, and I'm telling you, they were thumping. We had some thumping jokes that I think went right over the heads of Girl Dinner. I'm not going to say I'm offended, but we had some verbal nuggets that were super tasty that absolutely slapped, bro, and they just didn't get it.
I think you did just say at the beginning of that you were offended.
Just a little bit.
Well, okay, now that we got that cleared up.
But all in all, I thought it was a great show. Samber, that's I'm condensing their names.
That's your nickname for him?
Samber were awesome guests, and we had some snackers hanging out with our boogers. It was a great show. I loved it.
Boogers. Wasn't that one that we discussed that on the show, didn't we?
We did.
Okay,
nobody liked it. I'm still trial ballooning it.
I'm not. You know what, man? I'm not gonna lie. The way you just like organically use that, it actually sounded pretty good. When we were discussing it live with them, I was like, "Ooh, yeah, I don't know about that." But in all honesty, when you just said that, I was like,
exactly.
Huh.
Dylan is a Hall of Fame booger.
That he is. We got the boogers out there like Gina, Dylan.
Some of them you pick, some of them you flick.
Wow. Some of them you just wipe under the couch cushion.
Exactly. Bob says stop saying boogers.
I was gonna say, yeah, so I did see that he's watching in Rupp Arena right now, waiting for the Tennessee UCLA game to start.
Yeah.
He just witnessed the Auburn beatdown by Creighton.
Creighton won? Creighton didn't win, did they?
Oh, Auburn! No, Auburn beat down Creighton. Yeah,
there we go. Okay.
I
that would have busted my bracket.
Yeah, I misspoke on that. My apologies.
That would have busted my bracket.
And Bob, I'm sorry, man. I think boogers is that might be the new thing. Todd, you know what?
We're the salty snack.
We're a Democratic podcast. Unfortunately, Bob's not here to vote. So how about you and I take a vote right now? Boogers?
Boogers.
Done. Sorry, Bob. Shouldn't be out partying at March Madness. That's what you get for not being here, buddy.
Is there another? What else do people call boogers? Is there another term for them?
That's a good question. I'm 38 years old. You think I would know that? Let's see here. Because I mean, there's snot, but that's not
exactly. That's a liquid booger.
Yeah, that's not appropriate.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to call our fans snots.
No, boogers is much better than snots.
Like I said, you flick it, pick it. Some people save them.
I've seen some people eat them too, Todd. I won't mention any names.
Nose goblins.
Nose goblins.
Yeah.
Wow. That could be the runner-up for what we call our listeners. Oh, I just see that's what Bob put up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but I wanted to hit that up one more time. If for all of our boogers out there who might not have heard the girl dinner episode, I think it was thumping. I like thumping better than slapping. So I thought it was a great episode. Samber was fun to hang out with. It was great to hear the interesting Canadian accent. And I feel like in our bets, I think I came out ahead.
Did you?
I feel like I did.
You might have had one up on Bob and I. Maybe one.
I think I came out I think I narrowly got through. Because definitely the Letterkenny.
Dude, that's exactly what I was just thinking. I'm like, these two girls are from Canada. That's where the show is based out of. It was filmed there. It was a huge thing for Canadian TV. What Keystone and all those people did. Mm-hmm. And for them to just, when I said, Todd, when it was rolling off my tongue, I'm like, they're going to be like, yes, of course, Letterkenny. No. And when there was that long pause and
they said, what is it?
Yeah. And they're like, no, what's that?
Is it a documentary?
I'm like, oh no. I thought for sure Bob and I had that one in the bag. Yeah. So you made the right call on that. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah. Although I didn't think they were down with Schitt's Creek, but they both really appreciated and identify with that. So yeah, I just wanted to plug that episode again. I love plugging in the episodes where we have guests, and Samber was awesome. Yeah, dude, and hopefully we'll have them back on very soon, or we can be on their show. However the cookie may crumble. But yeah, they were definitely awesome to have on, and always welcome back. Go check it out. The butter tart may crumble. Yes, however the butter tart, or what was the one Bob came up with, a maple tail? Leaf, beaver tail. Yeah. And we never talked about back bacon. Oh, dude, yeah. Oh, you know what? That would have been another good. So do Samber, as we're referring to him now? Do they prefer actual Canadian bacon versus what would you call normal breakfast bacon? Just American bacon? You call it what it is. Bacon. No, fair enough. Yeah, and you let them have their little small ham slices.
Dude, I'm sorry, but that is one thing they definitely Canadians don't do very well. Canadian bacon, anytime that's ever mentioned during a breakfast, I'm like, nope, you can keep that. I'll take some.
See, here's the thing. I respect their Canadian bacon, but if I get a pizza and I'm like, yeah, I'll take Canadian bacon and real bacon. So I'll take both those pork products.
I mean, yeah. Hey, if you can double up on them, double up on them. Yeah, that's. I guess I'll give you credit for that one there. And speaking of which, so yeah, because we're out of. You're only dry for February, right?
I'm only dry for February, man. I'm off the wagon. I'm long off the wagon.
So now that you're back on the wagon, or off the wagon, on the wagon,
off the wagon.
Off the wagon. Okay. As Bob would normally ask you, what are you drinking tonight, buddy?
Dude, I am drinking a fabulous Seattle beer from Sea Pine Brewing. I am drinking the Citra IPA, hazy IPA. It is fantastic. And I know a lot of people don't like IPAs because a lot of IPAs try and see who can have the hoppiest, bitterest beer. This is a super bright, light citrus, kind of tangerine type. Again, without being fruity like Blue Moon. Amazing, amazing beer. Sea Pine Citra IPA, a hazy IPA from Seattle, Washington. Really, really good. 6.6% alcohol. So I won't get into too much trouble tonight.
I would say that's kind of low for some of the other ones that you've had before.
Well, when I drink the 8 point whatever's and the 9.2s, I'd get myself in trouble.
I mean, as one normally does.
Exactly. And for my shot, I'm back on the Twisted Tea shots. That's what I got my shot. I got my shot ready if you're ready.
That's exactly why I was bringing it up, sir.
Sweet. I got that sweet tea, Twisted Tea whiskey.
All right. Believe it or not, I'm going with Fireball.
No.
I know. It's so craziness.
Cheers,
buddy. Anyone out there listening, feel free to grab a shot.
That's the good stuff. What a way to usher in spring.
That was officially yesterday, wasn't it?
I thought it was Thursday.
Thursday?
I think Thursday was the first day of spring. It's the first day of March Madness too.
How time flies, buddy.
And you know what's cool? During the week at 11 a.m. to turn on college basketball that means something. That's pretty awesome.
That's when you know spring has really sprung.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That and mosquitoes.
Dude, you have mosquitoes out there already?
Oh yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, they're not horrible yet, so I had to order my Tougher Than Tom mosquito zapper.
Hold on. Oh, okay. All right. Let's talk some nostalgia, Todd.
Okay.
So, what this mosquito zapper that you purchased?
Yeah.
What's the setup of it? How does it work? Give us a quick rundown.
So it's actually pretty easy, and I use the zapper term very loosely because it's not an electronic, it's not a gadget, this isn't hardware. This is it's essentially an old Tougher Than Tom sells a recipe of an old bread recipe that they used to use. It has yeast and I think it has some flour and some other enzymes in it. But basically, you take some. They give you. It comes in a little brick in a package. You put some warm water in it, let it dissolve, and then you hang them around the perimeter of your property. So I have about an acre and a half cleared around the house, and I'd hang them maybe 100 feet apart all around the property on the fence. And essentially what happens is the mosquitoes, because when it starts fermenting, it emits carbon dioxide. So it emits something that seems like human breath. And so mosquitoes are attracted to it. So the mosquitoes go in, they get a little sip of it. And when they come out, they explode. Okay. And I know this will sound like an old wives' tale. We've been using it here at the house for a couple of years. And literally, once the mosquitoes start, like they just started about a week ago, I order it. I hang them the little buckets around the house. I think around the acre and a half. I think I have eight buckets around the entire acre and a half, so spaced out around my property. And you'll rarely see, if on a night where the mosquitoes are really really bad, you might see one or two. And once I dust the whole yard if we're having people over, if I do a little yard guard spray down, you won't see any mosquitoes for days.
Okay. All right. So yeah, as a matter of fact, my mom purchased Danielle and I something just at the end of last summer. So it was already kind of too late to experiment with it or even put it out because I didn't want to waste any of the product. But it kind of sounds like it's something similar. She swears up and down by it. They're like these little nodules that you fill up with stuff and you just put them around the yard.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to last basically all summer for keeping the mosquitoes out of wherever you place those around. So that sounds like a very similar product.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say though, I purchased like a rechargeable. It does great work. It's the UV light that attracts mosquitoes.
Yeah.
And they get pulled in. The only thing that sucks, man, because I really missed this from Camp Dearborn days, and my dad actually had one hanging up in the backyard. But when those mosquitoes hit that actual electric zap,
yeah,
and you just hear that buzzing, there's something so satisfying about that noise to me that again, it takes me back years and years and years ago when we'd be up at Camp Dearborn, hanging out in the backyard, and you could always tell when it caught a big one because you just heard that consistent zapping until that thing was fully fried.
Yeah. So actually, I have one of those as well, and for the stragglers and for other bugs. But you know what's even better than that? Do you have one of the electrified tennis rackets?
So I don't personally. Again, that was something because my mom's backyard where she used to live at, she had a pool. She had no trees in the backyard, but there were still you'd get some mosquitoes here and there. And anytime, Todd, this is something you might not know about my mother, but she's very anal when it comes to things, and very like a fly gets in the house, she is not leaving the house until she tracks down that fly and kills it. Same thing with mosquitoes, which obviously mosquitoes are a little bit harder to detect in the house, but when she came across one, she tracked that thing like a hunting dog. And that was her go-to device in the house, was the electric racket.
We have four of them. Oh yeah, that's the sport, man. Lighting flying insects up with those rackets is cathartic.
Oh, dude, I say it was, especially once you hear that little zap. Oh, can't beat that noise. Can't beat it. As a matter of fact, Bader had one in his backyard for a while. I think he still has it up, or puts it up every summer. But yeah, man, something about that zapping noise that tickles my funny bone, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. Well, the other thing actually that it doesn't give the audible satisfaction, but visual satisfaction. Last year I bought the thing where you fill the bag half with water, and it has a fly bait inside, and the flies, and so there's a little thing, and the flies can go into it, but they can. I've hung one in my yard, and it must have caught like 8 million flies, and I'm like, I'm getting another one of those this year. I can't wait to see how many flies that I eviscerate from the planet, because that is awesome.
Those work very, very well.
Yeah.
My sister just moved down to Grosse Ile a couple years ago, and so basically being surrounded by water everywhere, there's a lot of flies that she deals with out, on her property. And same thing, she bought one, hung it up in the backyard, and like she was giving us hourly updates. Not even like, oh, this was this week. Like it was every hour. She's like, oh my God, look how many are in here. And she had to buy several of them because they were so attracted to it, and she was catching so many of them that within a couple of days she had to throw the one out because it was so full.
Oh yeah.
And we had one on the back porch last summer, the summer before, and I definitely, now that we're talking about it, I definitely need to grab another one and put it out back there, because those are quite amazing. They actually, I know there's some products that you go, people are like, oh yeah, they work great, and then you get them, you're like, this thing sucks. But no, those fly traps definitely do the job.
Yeah, and I'm anti-insect. So, and I don't remember the name of it. I'll have to look it up before we get on again. But I also, because we we get flies and little, not, and they're not normal house flies because they don't really land on anything. There's more of an annoyance, and we also get these little no-see-ums all the time. And so I was trying to get rid of those in our patio area because we spend a great deal of the summertime. As soon as the warm weather is here to stay, we'll be outside most of the time on our in our outdoor kind of patio living room area. And I bought this spray that was like guaranteed to kill any flying insect, Corey. And you basically just spray it on either wood or metal surfaces, or you can even just you could actually spray a piece of cardboard and stick that to the side of your house, the wall or whatever, and it attracts flies and flying insects, and it kills them dead. And so much so, I sprayed it all around the my windows outside, and it killed so many of those little tiny gnats that you can barely see, that tens of thousands of them every day just drop dead right next to the window. And literally, I've had to vacuum them up because it just keeps on killing. And the good news is it's not, the dead insects aren't toxic to pets or wildlife. So it
Right.
does a super job of killing flying insects, but it actually does too good a job because I haven't sprayed again since I first sprayed it early last year, and it's still killing thousands of flying insects. Anything that lands on any of those sills on the outside dies.
Just immediately dead.
Yes.
Dude, I'm you're gonna have to send me the link for that because that also sounds fantastic. And yeah, wouldn't mind spraying around the outside of the house with that. Because dude, and again, oh, so you were what area when you lived in Michigan? What you were from? What area?
Well, I lived in when I moved from Michigan, I was living out in Milford.
Okay,
But I had a house in Livonia. I lived in Farmington Hills. Mary and I lived in Grand Rapids. We lived
shit.
in
So you
Alma
were
for
out,
a little bit.
you were
We're all
all over
over
the state.
Michigan. Oh yeah.
Okay, so but you never lived like out. So Danielle and I are in Roseville, very close to St. Croix Shores,
Yep.
and St. Croix Shores being the last city, right before you hit um, Lake Huron.
Yep.
And so I mean, we're a 5-minute drive from the water. Now, when I lived in Dearborn, we never had this issue. I did work on the east side for quite some time, years and years ago, and there was always this phenomena that would happen
Those fish
every summer.
flies.
The goddamn fish flies, Todd.
Yes. Yep.
Dude,
Yep.
I remember when I was just working out here, not even living out here. I worked in Harper Woods, so a little ways down from where I'm at.
I used to work in Harper Woods. Yep. I'm familiar.
Yeah, and so, dude, it was there was a month out of every summer that I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'd pull up in a gas station, and if you were going over 10 miles per hour and tried to brake,
Oh yeah,
you
you'd
would just
slide.
literally slide across all these fish flies,
Yeah.
and you'd find them in your car where you never thought they could be. I had one in one of my past cars. It was right in the very crease where the back window met the back dash. And it was so far in there that even with the most powerful vacuum that I had, it wouldn't come out. So I basically had that fish fly in my car the entire time I owned that vehicle. And now living out here, oh man, that is one of the biggest downsides of being that close to the water. Because yeah, there's that 1 month, which I can't even recall what month it is. I just know it happens. Yeah, we get
Yeah.
home and you get out of the car, go to walk up to the onto the porch, and there's literally just fish flies everywhere. And they're only alive for 24 hours. They die immediately.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
which again, now dealing with them for so long, and I should look up what their purpose is because I hope they do have a purpose, and they're not just annoying as shit. But yeah, it can get pretty bad with those. So
Yeah. Hey, Gina.
oh, Gina's in the room.
Gina's in the room. Our favorite
G-
booger.
Oh man, let's see what she has to say about that. That's the Schnozzcast #1 booger.
And Dylan is talking about, he spread something like fertilizer. Is it diazinon, or there's a couple of granule thing that kills a bunch of insects, but most of that stuff's not pet safe, Dylan. So if it's not pet safe, I can't use it because I got 2 giant dogs and chickens that are in the lawn all the time. So
and him and my sister both, they have 2 dogs. So yeah, they should know way better than to make sure that all that shit's pet friendly before they start tossing it all over the yard. Come on, Dylan. You trying to kill the dogs?
I was going to say, and sometimes it just irritates the dogs, and you might not know. But the bigger thing with us now, especially with chickens, that we let free range in our yard, anything that they eat, we consume through the eggs. So we definitely nothing that's not 100% pet safe, and we try to go as organic as possible.
Yeah, that would really suck to feed the chickens some toxic shit, and even though they don't react to it, you guys start eating your eggs, and next thing you know, you and Mary have the shits like you wouldn't believe.
Oh yeah, or something worse. And Gina made a funny comment about being called a booger. That we're testing this out.
We're testing the waters, Gina.
Yeah.
see what boogers like you think about this.
Top tier boogers, like the pick'ems, not the flick'ems, the pick'ems.
These are ones when you pull them out, you just feel that relief, and you're like, oh, that needed to come out. And then when it's on your finger, you just kind of sit there and admire it for a second.
Yeah, you're like, that's a keeper.
You're like, that's a damn good booger. Like, I don't know what I should do with this. I can't just throw this out right away. I just feed them to the dogs.
Oh, that's gross.
I'm kidding, Todd. I'm kidding.
It's still gross just to say it.
I know.
Well, we were, and just so that people are aware, we also spitballed assholes for our follower names. Since the girl dinner had snackers. Assholes was the first name that I posited, and nobody liked that one.
Yeah, I think that one was the lowest on the list.
It was.
Hey, you shitbags. Wait a second. That doesn't even correlate with the word Schnozzcast.
Schnozzers.
Like I said, that's just the low hanging fruit, though.
It is. That's why I like boogers.
We've discussed that, over all the past years, and it's just that's too easy of a grab.
Super fan is better.
A booger super fan? Yes, I agree, Gina. I agree.
We'll have to do some research and kind of get the hierarchy of boogers.
I'm telling you, like I said, after you said it tonight, it's been a couple weeks since we've discussed all that with girl dinner. I think it has a ring to it.
I like it. I like it.
And it doesn't really matter because you and I already voted since Bob's not here, and our vote trumps what he thinks.
Well, exactly. And she says, "I'm the OG. Thank you. Yeah, you can be the OG booger, the queen booger."
Queen, wow. Queen bug. That's something to put on the resume right there. Oh, so, man.
What else we got going tonight, Corey? We talked sports. Hey, and by the way, Wisco has made this a game. It's 51-56, 14 minutes left. It looks like they've been able to slow BYU down. So Wisco keeping it done. Girl dinner. That's who I get. Didn't you show up for that show?
Yeah, Gina, what
where have you been? Where you been?
Dude, that's Gina drinking at home alone again.
Mm-hmm.
As she mentioned prior that I don't do shots at home by myself. Girl dinner. Get out of here, Gina. Speaking of which, Gina, when are you coming back on the show? It's been a while since we've had her on.
It has been a while. And we have guests coming up, don't we?
Yeah. So for all those of you listening, now and in the future, our next episode, I believe we are going to have Jimmy Krabby Pappas on the show again. After several reschedules, unfortunately.
He makes me laugh.
Which Krabby's with Bob right now at March Madness. So if you're still listening, Bob, have Krabby confirm that he's going to be here next weekend.
Word. I'm surprised that those guys, though, didn't make the trip out to Seattle and hang out with me for March Madness, because there are games downtown, baby.
Dude, that's what we talked about in the production meeting, that you were more than happy to have them out there. Oh, wait. Hey.
What?
Todd, hang on. Why can't I get...
Right here, bud.
So what you guys are hearing in the background right now, this is Joe, one of the guys that we were just hanging out with for March Madness. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hear us or not, because it's very loud at Boatworks.
I can hear you.
Can you hear us? All right.
No, I hear you.
Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the Schnozzcast.
What's up?
What's the topic? What are you talking about?
We were just discussing
boogers.
Boogers and March Madness. Do you not know what March Madness is?
No, I'm going outside because I lost it for a second. I've
What
been
just
around
happened
March
here?
Madness for a second. Yeah.
What's up, Joe's friend?
All right.
The Schnozzcast has been taken over by two new boogers.
No, we're right here. We're right here. We're trying to be
each other's.
Yeah, we're trying to be appropriate for you guys.
There you go.
We took the noise out.
Yeah. So yeah,
We're trying to take the noise out.
yeah. I had to mute one of your guys' microphones. So yeah, dude. So I was just talking with Todd.
I muted mine.
That we were just up there with you guys for March Madness and the big Michigan game.
Yeah, Michigan won. It was fantastic. Can I swear or no?
No, Joe. How goddamn? Who do you think you are that you can come on our fucking show and think that you can't swear and that you can swear?
Well, I got yelled at for swearing earlier, so I just wanted to make sure I could swear. Yeah, it was fantastic that they fucking came back and
Very much.
fucking won.
Hail to the victors.
The Big Ten is 11-0 straight up and 11-0 against the spread. But there's a game on right now, so they have a chance to fuck that up. But they are 11-0 both ways. It's incredible.
Who did you have picked, Todd? What was your pick for the Creighton game? Was it Creighton Auburn?
I picked Auburn.
Joe, who'd you have for that game?
Well, Auburn's winning, yes, for sure.
They won.
Correct. Yes.
Who was the out of your guys' group? So between you, Mike, and Garrett, who won the most on the Michigan game?
Me and Michael for sure. We
Don't tell Taylor.
Don't count Taylor. Why not?
don't tell Taylor. He said.
Oh, don't
but
tell Taylor. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We bought bikes.
Oh, Todd, yeah, that's I got a story for you too. When like I said, these guys get a little crazy with placing bets on certain. What was it last year? Garrett, what did Garrett find on ESPN that came? Oh, the corgi races, the little miniature dogs. So Todd,
For
when we were
sure.
up there, when we were up there last year, a couple of the TVs had some other stuff than just the basketball games, and they had these corgi races. And Garrett decided that he was going to start placing bets on the corgi races. I'm like, man, that's awfully intense.
He lost.
People bet on goldfish races. I'd bet on corgis.
Do you like F1?
Gambling?
Well, F1 race starts at 3 a.m. today, Eastern.
So
Oh,
midnight
dude,
for me.
Where are you at?
I'm in Seattle.
Yeah, so it'd be midnight for you. They're in China, and it'll be on ESPN. Like, have at it. Like, it's gonna be a good time.
That's
Little
right. I forgot
Formula One racing. I love it.
I forgot that starts the same weekend as March Madness.
Yeah, there was a race last week. There was a sprint race last night that started at like 1 last night. I had to turn the games off to put the sprint race on. I got yelled at, but it was 19 laps. Got it over with, and people moved on. But
So just so you know, Todd, Joe that we're speaking with, we meet him up at this bar out in St. Clair Shores called Boatworks, and they pretty much have the run of the place when they come in there for March Madness. And Joe has control of all the TV remotes, and he's able to change whatever TV he wants to whatever channel they need to for their viewing pleasure. So it's pretty impressive when you hang out with these guys.
That's
The
nice. You gotta love that. Gotta love it.
Yeah, for the first time I hung out with them, I was like, holy shit, what is going on? But then after hanging out with them a few times, they're great dudes, and I love going up there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to see Joe up there with Garrett and Mike tomorrow because Danielle has a bridal shower to go to.
let's go. Yes.
Yeah, I'll be able to partake a little bit more tomorrow and watch.
You're not going to the bridal shower?
Well, Todd, I thought about it and I decided against it. It was my choice, not anyone else's.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get that straight.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we'll be up there tomorrow. And as a matter of fact, you know what, Joe? I think I might have to bring up the GoPro, and I want to get you mic'd up, and we're going to make some content for the podcast.
Okay, I'm in.
All right, man. Sounds good.
Do you want me to leave? I don't want to mess your stuff up.
Dude, you're good. I appreciate you stepping outside, so it's a little much easier to hear you.
Right. That was impossible to hear you in there.
Oh, I'm sure. It was not a quiet place.
Yeah. I'll hang out with you tomorrow. Like, we're cool. I'm
Sounds
glad
good, man.
Michigan won.
Absolutely.
Huge
Absolutely.
win.
Oh, fuck. Oh, I see you. Yes. It was that was a big win for us. So, if I can, I have a child that's a child. He goes, "Can I come hang out with the lads?" Like, me and my buddies, we call ourselves lads. We watch soccer. I pretend we're lads. He's like, "Can I come up? Can I come up and watch the game with the lads?" And he's at home with my wife. I'm like, "Well, if Mama will drive you up here, have at it." So he comes up here. Cory was up here. He saw at least a half of it. Come up here, wife sitting there dealing with these fucking morons, and we watched Michigan come back and win, and it was phenomenal.
Dude, and I'll tell you what, his son, Sal's how old?
13.
13. Todd,
Yeah.
you would have been impressed, man. He's definitely a sports fanatic already. Joe has taught him well.
I love it. And he got to be a Michigan fan too.
100%. Yeah.
There we go.
Absolutely.
We go. Hail to the victors.
Yes, sir.
And then after the win for Michigan, Boatworks for big games like that, there's a bell behind the bar that they'll ring. The entire bar gets a free round.
Did you say Buttworks?
Yeah, Buttworks. The old gay bar in St. Clair Shores.
It's down the street from the manhole, right?
No, it's in the manhole.
It's definitely in the manhole. Yes.
But yeah, no, Sal got to go behind the bar and ring the bell and gave the entire bar around a free
Made
drink.
his whole day. Made his whole
Nice.
day. Yeah.
Nice.
We thought it was so cool.
Nice.
All right, guys. I'll leave you to it.
All right, Joe.
Thank you
Nice
for
to meet you,
entertaining.
Joe.
No, thanks for coming in.
Thanks
Definitely
for joining
appreciated.
us. Hail to the victors.
Absolutely. Let's go. Go Blue.
Enjoy
Blue.
the rest of the games.
Yes, sir.
There we go. Sorry, I didn't know if they were actually going to come on or not. Well, I didn't know if Joe was going to or not.
2 new boogers.
Definitely 2 new boogers. That's for sure. He was very excited when I told him. Well, because he was at first upset that Danielle and I had to leave so early to do the podcast. I'm like, hey, dude, it's what we do every Saturday. But as I was getting ready to leave, he's like, do you guys do it live? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, is there any way like I could be on for a second? And I'm like, yeah, I'll send you the link. And didn't think because again they start very early, and it's already probably been about going on 10 hours that they've been up there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's some long days, but yeah, glad he came in, and I'm glad Mike realized that he was messing up the audio and dropped off because that would have sucked. But yeah, so there you go. That's you got to meet Joe and Mike, the 2 guys, 2 of the 3 guys I was hanging out with up at Boatworks, and
Buttworks.
The old Buttworks in the manhole.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, but I can't even remember where we were at. That
I don't remember either, but that's all right. What are we doing next? Do we still have time for TikToks? Are we doing a question? What are we doing?
Let's do a question. I with the TikToks, I still got to work some kinks out doing this from home.
Okay.
With not having the mixer and all that, and our normal setup. So I don't want something to go wrong and we get, shut down because something's not loading correctly or whatever. So
no worries.
Yeah. Do you have a question? Anything ready?
I don't. I was going to tell you a story because I know that we're not doing Gentleman's Agreement, but I cannot wait to assign a new miniseries that I just saw. That's one of the best things I've ever seen. And I'm super excited, although I'm a little bit, I don't know if I'll be able to assign it to you though for, again, I'm not even going to give it away.
Dude, hey, all right. Can we at least, can you give the name of the series? That's not giving anything away.
Adolescence.
Okay.
It's on Netflix.
Really? I don't think I've come across that on there yet.
Maybe one of the best things I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, and again, I don't think this is giving too much away. It's either subtitled.
It's not subtitled. It's actually English, but British English. But it's so they speak so quickly, and there is some slang portions where I had to rewind like 4 or 5 times. And now in retrospect, when I told my sister about it, she's like, "Did you turn on subtitles?" I'm like, "No, but I probably should have."
Had I thought about it, rather than rewinding 5 times, subtitles would have helped out a little bit.
A lot of bit. Yeah, but amazing. Okay. Amazing. I mean, I don't want to tell anything about the plot. No. If you find it, it'll actually tell you what the story's about. But it's also I'm not a movie snob like Bob, but one of the things that I loved about it from a cinematic perspective was it's shot. It's only 4 episode series, and each episode is a single shot.
Okay.
So I can't remember what they call that, where there's no cutaway, there's no edit to move to another camera or another angle. So anytime anyone goes from one place to another, you actually see that whole thing transpire. And the way that they've done it, it makes it very, very different. Like I was watching it, Corey, and for a moment I'm like, is this a documentary? And then I'm like, well, it can't be. Is it a documentary? It can't be. No, I think this is a documentary. Like it went literally because of the way it's shot like that. I couldn't tell that it wasn't a documentary. And then when I really was for sure it wasn't a documentary, it makes the cinematography all that much more fabulous. And Mary let me know today that she had seen a review of the show, and one of the main characters, this is his first acting project, and he's absolutely phenomenal.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
That's as Todd, I'm going to ask a huge favor of you since it's only the two of us here.
Yep.
Go on for a little second longer on that about how it's shot and all that, because I need to step away for one quick second.
Sure. So for those of you who are familiar with any kind of movies or any TV shows, you often see the breaks where they cut away, like, or if the police are going from the station to somewhere, a remote location, wherever the crime took place, they cut away the edit. They all of a sudden show up at the other place. The cinematography, and I don't know that I've ever noticed this before. I'm sure this isn't the first movie ever shot this way, but literally based on the way that they shoot it, like I said, I was unable to discern whether or not it was a documentary or not. And then I kept going back and forth until I was able to actually kind of pinpoint, well, wait a minute. If this were a real documentary, these people would not be saying what they're saying. And so then you're like, okay, it's not a documentary, but this is really cool because it's shot just like a documentary. And these characters are all moving around, and how the camera moves is just amazing. So yeah, Adolescence is the movie. We're not doing Gentleman's Agreement this week. But for any of the boogers out there who want to see something really, really good, but you do pro tip, turn on the subtitles, because even though it is in English, they're speaking a little bit too quickly and they use a lot of slang. There was one specific scene where I think I rewound it like 5 times just to be able to get what was going on, and I still didn't get all of it. I got like 75% of it. So still, but even with that, you never ever lose track. Even if you can't understand it and you don't want to turn on subtitles, you never ever are lost at a loss for what's going on. It's a well made movie. Just amazing. And Cory, like I said, I'm torn because I'm definitely on the side to Bob. I know that you will like it because it is predominantly a law enforcement series.
Okay. All right. So, and I will say too, first of all, well done with peppering in boogers here and there. I know Bob's going to love that.
I'm the king of the callback, baby.
I like it. But yeah, no, as far as how that's shot in that, and I know there is a term for it. It's not like first one camera. Maybe it is just one camera or one frame. How it's referred to in the film industry. But either way, that kind of reminds me of I don't know if you've ever seen Hardcore Henry.
No.
So Hardcore Henry was shot all in
single
POV.
take. It's all
single. Hardcore Henry was shot all in POV. So
okay.
It was the point of view of the main character. And I looked up a bunch of behind the scenes stuff and all that, and it was basically they just attached 2 GoPros to this specially made like jaw mount. So it was basically you were seeing right from the bottom of the person's bottom lip, which apparently I guess that's like to watch them in POV, that's the best way to watch it. But yeah, the entire movie was shot like that, and it was the only movie I've ever seen done in that fashion.
And this one's particularly amazing to me, again, as a person who's never made a movie or doesn't know, but because there's no breakaway and it's a single camera, there's one of the episodes ends, and clearly the camera is affixed to a drone.
Okay.
So I'm like, so then they had to film that whole episode with said drone.
Yeah, that would make sense. That's, I mean, it's a crazy way to shoot a movie, but again, too, new stuff like that and new ways of coming up with ideas for movies, because there's so much that's just been done and redone and done again. Yeah, I got to applaud a director or, producer that comes up with an idea like that. That, it's something different. Because
it's amazing. The cinematography, like I said, I was floored by it. And again, I didn't even know. I was floored by it. And then Mary hasn't seen it yet, but she was giving me, she saw a review on Morning Joe or some other show that she watches. And so she was saying that it was the budget was super low. But in this one, and again, one of the main actors, it was his first acting performance. And I'll put it this way, that besides the fact of the way that it's shot made it feel like a documentary, the parts that people played made it, even when you knew it wasn't a documentary, it was so believable, Corey. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough to anybody out there. And
you know what, after that little conversation about it, I would not be mad to get that assigned to me. Like I said, just the cinematography alone sounds very interesting and fun and new. So yeah, I don't think I would mind watching that. Even if and Todd, for the record, just for you, buddy, even if I have to turn subtitles on, I'll forego the idea of subtitles for one movie or one series.
I love it. Then consider it my soft add to you, even though we didn't do it tonight. But fair enough. Actually, why don't we, again, Bob's not here. We make the rules today. I'm assigning it to you in our unofficial gentleman's agreement, because I don't think you should wait until we actually do this for me to assign it to you, because you shouldn't wait. You should watch it so that you can tell people about it.
Sounds good. We will do that. And speaking of doing things,
let's do it.
Pour yourself up a shot, buddy.
I'm on it. Ooh, it's I think this might be the last one of my twisted tea.
Last one? That's a healthy shot. If that's what I was going to say.
I got one more left.
Okay. All right. We'll have to finish that up before the official end of the show then.
Oh, boy. All right. I'm ready.
Cheers, buddy.
Cilantro. That is good stuff. I'm going to get myself another fifth of that. Jerome.
Another good callback, sir. Another good callback. Go out to Total Wine right now. They know you're on the way with the chopper. So here's a thought for you, Todd.
I'm ready.
We talked about this a while back on a production meeting, and I don't think it's ever really come up. But what did you do as a kid, outside or inside, with your buddies when you were younger, that you can't do today anymore because you're an adult?
Yeah.
And what would you like to go back and do?
Besides sneaking porn magazines from underneath my buddy's dad's bed.
Well, hang on. So hang on. Let's start with that.
I'll never forget when we found my buddy's dad's porn stash.
Okay. All right. So hang on. So for some context, around what year was this?
I would have been in grade school still, maybe like 5th or 6th grade.
Well, 5th or 6th?
Yeah, 5th or 6th grade.
That's early to find a porn stash.
I know, and we were all amazed by the boobies. He had some old Penthouse, and I'll never. Then this is the joke of it. He had what I thought to be the greatest magazine in the history of the world. Owie, OUI. It's We. It was the French porn magazine We, OUI. We were dumb little kids who were like, Owie is the best.
I love me some Owies.
Exactly.
Hold on. So this magazine is clearly not around anymore.
Is it? Is it not? It was the best magazine. It was dirtier than Playboy, and not quite Hustler. Classier than Hustler.
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah. So yeah, if you're gonna rank the I would say Hustler's the top of the raunchy chain, and Playboy's probably the.
Well, have you seen Double XL or Blacktail or?
You. Thanks for selling out my secret, Todd. Those still show up to the house every month. I'll tell you what though, if you Google Owie, there's the first site that comes up is not one I was going to click on right now while we're on the show.
I just did Google it, and it came up, and it went to the wasn't a men's adult pornographic magazine. It ceased its publication in 2007.
Yep, I should have put I should put magazine after Owie. I put a different word, and that kind of threw me off. So feel free to guess what that word was, but
we were so young, we thought it was Owie.
I'll tell you what, Todd, the results that showed up when I put that in, it definitely was Owie. It was not some very hurtful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so Owie was that was your first introduction into a
again, we found a friend's dad's stash, and he had the gambit. He had Playboy, he had some Penthouse, and he had and he had Hustler. He had the whole shooting match.
So he was a connoisseur of sorts.
He was a connoisseur of porn.
All right. So okay, so you mentioned too. So it was
Owie. It's Owie to you,
Owie. Sir. My bad. This was a French publication?
Yes. Oh,
okay,
no, it looks like it was, I guess it was Playboy must have owned it, but it was a French.
Maybe when they started, it was a French publication and Playboy bought them out?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that I was gonna say, like, was he getting his porno magazines imported? Like, that'd be impressive.
I have no. Again, we of course, like I said, this was the thing. Of course, it was my buddy who discovered his dad's stash, and then the whole literally the whole thing was like 3 or 4 of us would hang out at his place after school, and then we would have to devise a plan to get his dad's magazines out from under the bed and into our fort undetected, and then get it back under the bed. Well, the whole while, it was like getting around his mom, who was like in and out because.
All right, hang on. Oh my God, we're gonna go on for 3 hours about this. Okay, so because now I need you to run me through when you guys got into the house. What so was there a diversion?
Yeah, there was you're on it. It was like always some sort of so and so twisted his ankle or got a cut that needs Mrs. So and so to freaking bandage it up, and then somebody would go into the room.
So someone was just laying outside, holding their knee,
it hurts so bad. So there was one kid who had, more often than not. I'll never forget. Anthony was his name. I'm not going to do any last names, but Anthony.
Fair enough.
Took several for the team, where we would again other things that we talk, that nostalgia of what we did after school. We would play this term, not from me, and should no longer be used. But there was a game of kind of no rules football called Smear the Queer back in the day, where you just you kind of just tackled people.
Yeah, that game lasted for a long time, way too long.
Yeah,
but yeah,
and Anthony would often, when the game was going to end and it was time to get our porno on, Anthony would bear the brunt of he'd get smeared even without the ball. So that
Anthony was the queer.
He would get absolutely obliterated, so that the missus of the home would have to attend to his injury. So that we could kind of either make ingress or egress with the pornography.
Okay, all right. So now we got the diversion tactic down.
Mm-hmm.
As far as removing it from the bedroom, was it like a tuck in the pants under the shirt?
Oh yeah, back of the pants with the shirt untucked.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. I can see that.
Yep.
So then you guys would go to your fortress.
Yep. And then just all sitting there, mouths wide open, in awe.
It is funny too, because back at that age, like you really don't know what to do with those magazines except just sit there.
Well, and realize that no one in your life looks anything like this.
My mom doesn't look like that.
Nobody's mom looks like this.
This is craziness. Okay, all right. So after you guys get done ogling the magazines,
then it's now actually, dude. Here's the other thing too, and we would try, and again, we were dumbass little kids. So I am fully convinced that again, the father whose stash we were invading, he had to know that we were doing, because sometimes pages got
next
crinkled.
Question.
And especially since we were jamming it down pants to get it back in and out, get it in and out of the house, he had to know that somebody had discovered it. But nobody ever said a word. We never ever got busted.
That's one cool dad. That's one cool dad. You know what? I'll let my boy and the kids enjoy these.
And this is I don't know if this will get edited out or not. Probably because we were too young to actually be spanking it and actually sticking pages together, right? We were just all in awe of the booby. And so the fact that we were...
That's why I mentioned earlier. Like, you really, at that age, you really don't know what to do with a magazine like that. You're just kind of like, you just stare at it and you're like, wow, this is craziness.
It makes me feel very strange.
I don't know what's going on in my body right now. So I'm assuming that he knew that, like, it's not like you guys were like 14, 15-year-old kids and you're like, well, we're going to go ahead and take care of ourselves real quick. And oops, look at that.
Exactly. It's never going back.
The ink on that page is really running now.
No.
So,
no.
so because that was the other thing I was thinking was like, man, there's no way. Like, and I think back when Nick was still on the show, he made a mention to, his dad had this huge water tank full of coins.
Mm-hmm.
And when him and Natalie wanted to go to the gas station, whatever, his cousin, to get, candy and food for themselves that they shouldn't be getting, they would dump out coins out of that cooler.
Mm-hmm.
And so then finally he said one day they came in and they found a
note or whatever, right?
No, first it was a $50 on top of the water, the tank. But they were so stupid because they were so young that they didn't pay attention to if he had it on heads or tails. So they would put it back the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would know someone.
I am absolutely sure that we jacked up the stack. Like I said, absolutely. Because like I said, because there were times when we were putting them back. It was because it was a stealth mission both in and out every single time.
I was gonna say that that's a hasty mission too. That's not we got time to do this. Like, no, like you need to. Hey, his knee can only hurt for so long.
Well, he had to be hurt. Somebody had to be hurt. Two people had to be hurt sometimes. Ultimately, every now and again, the stars would align, and like the mom might leave the house for a minute or go someplace or be somewhere in the house where we knew that there was a clear path. But otherwise, sometimes we had to do two different diversions to execute the plan
for the extraction and the.
And the other thing too, there's a couple times. The funniest thing is how we almost got busted was there was a group of 4 of us was the core group, but every now and again, if we would like get a little bit too much material, there'd be like 16 kids all trying to get in the same washing machine box.
What are all these kids doing at my house? Like, I didn't know my son had this many friends.
Exactly.
So because and again too, I'm assuming he probably like had them like all binding out, so he would know like if they were touched or not. But again, like
actually even more simple than that, Corey. I assume that he had them in chronological order, like as he was acquiring them, the newer ones would be on the top.
Oh,
and here, and like I said, again, I was never ever, because it wasn't my house, I was never ever on the mission to actually put it back. But I can't.
I'm taking one of these.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. But I was never ever on that mission because I'm like, if I get caught in somebody else's parents' bedroom, that's, back in the day, that was like, you're definitely gonna get murdered by your parents.
You're in trouble.
Right. So that was never a task of mine. But I would be amazed if the two of us that were allowed to go into that room, because there's a brother duo in our crew.
Okay.
Of the two brothers, and one of them was extremely dumb. I can't imagine that those magazines went back in the same order, and like you said, with the bindings facing the right way or anything like that, ever.
Yeah, I can only assume that Dad knew every time that
Correct.
you guys stole some of his stash, or I shouldn't say stole. You're borrowing it. Not really,
like checking it out of the library.
Yeah,
but not
really
using the Dewey Decimal System.
Or not filling out the library card of the last person that checked it out.
Correct.
Oh man, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to take a deeper dive into this magazine on my own time to see what it's all about.
It was a fifth grader's dream, Cory.
Dude, like I said, I can only imagine.
A fifth grader's dream.
And you know what sucks, Todd? And as weird as this is gonna sound, kids that are coming up nowadays, they're not even gonna be able to experience that kind of stuff because everything's online now. Yeah. You're going to have some parents that just give their kid a phone or an iPad and be like, yeah, here you go. And not protect any of the settings on it, not do their parental, they're not going to do their parental duties. And their kids just going to be able to look up whatever they want. Like, I feel like you should have to work for it. Like you guys did.
Well, we had to work for, well, here's the funny thing though. Fast forward, my parents got divorced, but my stepdad lived in Canton for a while, and he lived in a little townhouse in Canton, and I'll never forget these days. My stepdad and I had a really interesting relationship. But for the longest time, I didn't like going when we would spend our weekends with him. I didn't necessarily love going over to spend the weekend with him, but the thing that made it super palatable was his upstairs neighbor in his little townhouse community. She had a son. She was a divorcee who had a son that was maybe a year older than me. And she was truly enlightened. She let her son, who was, I'd have been high school age, like 8th grade, 9th grade. And when we would go there, I'll have to think back to remember exactly how old I was. But I was older. But his mom let him have a Playboy magazine collection.
Really?
Yeah, and he was not 18. We were not 18. But she let him collect Playboy because, again, while there was nudity, she was like very, very progressive mom. And she's like, I'm not going to have my son, wondering about the female body. And again, Playboy, as far as the pictures go, is the least.
It's tame.
It's very, very R-rated, not X-rated, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Good way to put it.
So, yeah, I mean, ultimately, and so basically, when I would, he was I remember him being my best, maybe the best friend I'd ever had. Like when I met him, it was like I hit the friend jackpot because not only.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, it was two things. Not only was his mom super progressive and let him have a Playboy magazine collection, he also had the very first Atari game system. He had the first, whatever, the Atari 5200, like a Commodore 64, like all of the technology trinkets that are classics today, but that were like first age. He had all that. So so while I was waiting for my turn on the Atari, Cory, I was thumbing through a brand new, fresh September edition of Playboy magazine.
Talk about living the dream.
I was a blessed young man.
And so you said that this guy, he was his parents were divorced, correct?
Parents were divorced. He lived with his
Okay.
mom. His mom lived in the townhouse just above my dad's. And so literally, I would get to my dad's house and I'd drop my duffel bag with my clothes and stuff.
And you're like, I'm out.
And I'm like, I'm out.
I know where I need to go.
Exactly. And every time when he wasn't home, if they were all gone, like I'd come back all bummed out. But as soon as any door that shut,
I gotta go. Knocking on their door.
Exactly. Hey man, where you been?
couldn't wait for you to get home. Hey, before you leave, if you just want to drop that Atari off with me, I'll bring it back to you when you get home.
Oh my gosh, I had some of the best days of my life, Corey. You took me back. Nostalgia. You took me back.
Hey, that's what nostalgia is all about, man. And speaking of which, so I had a friend, basically the same thing. You know, his parents were divorced when he was very young, and his mom got remarried, but his dad didn't, and they only lived a couple blocks from each other, so he was able to go back and forth between the two. And but he was an only child, and dude, the stuff like. Because it was always the two parents competing, right?
Right.
So like one Christmas, like when N64 came out, his dad got him an N64, with 007, and no questions asked. Like,
yep.
I don't even think he asked for it for Christmas. He just got it.
Yep.
And we're all like, well, we know where we're gonna be, for sleepovers and on the weekends and stuff, because he was fortunate enough to have one, and he had 007. But then his mom obviously would find out, and his mom was like, well, I'm going to buy you an N64 with 007 and 5 other games that you can play. And then so we'd be like, oh, shit. Like, yeah, your dad's house is cool because he has an N64 with 007. Like, we really want to check out those other games. And so we'd go down to his mom's house, and we're like, oh, yeah, Mrs. So-and-so can we're all going to stay here. And she's like, oh, you guys don't want to stay at his dad's house anymore? We're like, well, no, we like you more.
Exactly.
She clearly knew they both knew what they were doing.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we were such fair weather fans when it came to, our only child friend with divorced parents at that young, because like all of our parents, we're all still together, and there was none of that kind of niceness going on where you could go to each house and have an N64 no matter where you went. And yeah, dude, unfortunately, I think we were so caught up in the N64, we never really even looked for his dad's porn stash. we were so taken over by the video game that we didn't really look for that. Had we been smart enough to go look for that, I'm sure
you could have been double dipping.
Yeah, we could have been. Yeah, I mean, there were nights we were up until 5-6 a.m. Playing 007. So, and there was only you could only have so many screens on at once, and since he was the only one that had one, there'd be you said there was 10 of us guys over there, and so we all had to wait our turns. Yeah, it would have been nice to have some viewing pleasure while we were waiting that turn.
I don't know if this episode's going to be any good, Corey, but it took me back to some fun days for all the wrong reasons.
I'm not going to. Todd, I applaud that story. I really do. That was one hell of a throwback story.
Indeed.
I had something in mind too, but mine's nowhere even near as cool or as funny as that. So I don't even know if I want to give you my answer.
Do it.
Oh man. Okay. So the one thing I miss, hang on, before we do this, let's pour up the rest of that twisted tea.
All right.
And
is it the last shot of the night?
Last shot of the night.
All right. Dude, that worked out perfect. It's exactly one
full shot?
One full shot.
Well done, sir. See, now I know you killed Bob Probert.
Look at that.
Well, let's see the shot glass though.
Right
shit,
to the top. Right to the tippy top.
I will definitely give you applause on that. Well done. Well, cheers, brother.
Cheers. That's the good stuff. Oh, that's pretty tasty. I'm gonna get more of that. I like that cocoa bomb, but I really like this as well. This is would be a nice summer shot. And
I was gonna say
my crown. I got some Crown Peach left too.
I would say cocoa bomb seems more like a wintry time kind of shot.
Yeah, and actually, I enjoyed pairing that cocoa bomb with the porters and especially that coconut porter. That was that chocolate whiskey is really good, but all my whiskeys come right out of the freezer and into the cooler with ice. They're all icy cold. But that cocoa bomb with the coconut porters is like drinking a Mounds candy bar.
I mean, I can see how that would be appetizing. And thank God that Total Wine knows that you liked all your stuff chilled before you buy it. So
Jerome knows how we do.
As he should. For what he's getting paid, Todd, he better know. All right, so my thing was, and again, nowhere near as good as sneaking pornos out, but dude, I really just miss, back in the summer days when you got out of school and you woke up at 8 o'clock every morning, grabbed your bike. Well,
I've always been a sleeper inner.
I probably didn't either, but just to make the story sound good, we got up very early. But no, whatever time you got up, you went out, you grabbed your bike, and you rode around to all your nearest friends' houses. Whoever the first was to join you, they would join. You'd ride to the next friend's house until you got your group together, and then you just be outside all day, man. We played bike tag. I remember we had before, and so a little side thing here, dude. Danielle and I were at Target the other day, and we were now with all the summer stuff coming out, they have these water guns and everything that they're selling. Dude, I'm 38. I'm buying several of them. They're USB-C rechargeable now. You can literally
rechargeable water guns.
Yeah. And it's not a pump action. Like, you hit the trigger and the water is electronically shot out of the barrel. Also, to refill it, you can just hit a little button and like put the barrel of the water gun in a bucket, and it just sucks water right up until it's full. No messing around with the hose and those little tiny plug caps.
Oh yeah,
that you didn't have to pull out, and they were the size of a pen tip.
Yeah,
and you can only get so much water in at a time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's what we were dealing with back in the day. But again, once I get my water gun collection together this summer, I'll make a video for you guys. But yeah, so we had these cheap ass water guns that even when you were 2 feet away from someone, you were not getting them wet by any means. It wasn't soaking anyone. But we found fun in it, and we'd run around the neighborhood all day long, and play cops and robbers. And dude, the one thing that was always so cool looking back on now that I know could never happen today in today's age, anywhere in our neighborhood, like not even our direct neighbors from all my buddies' houses, like who was ever on the left or right or behind them. I'm talking about people like we didn't even know. You were more than free to go in their backyard and hide or have a water gun fight back there.
Yeah,
like there were no questions asked. Like and if someone did come out and they didn't want you back there, all they'd be like, "Hey guys," and we're like, "Oh, so sorry, sorry."
Exactly, get out of my yard. Exactly, yeah.
And we would leave.
Yeah.
But 98% of the people, like, they never gave two shits that we were in their backyard messing around having fun.
In their backyard, in their shed, absolutely. We that was actually, Cory. My intent wasn't to tell you my childhood where I got my depravity from, but yeah, I spent my childhood doing the same things, playing hide and seek, kick the can, and all that shit with the boys. And like you said, you would actually, whenever you left the house, you would start collecting your crew. And then and I think really more so than that, it was like a bunch of things, and we weren't big water gun, especially my buddies. The biggest, I would say, we played cops and robbers, but water guns weren't the thing as much as water balloons. Like it seems like water's a central theme to youth, though. Somebody would get just enough money because you could get a pack of 100 balloons for just a couple of bucks.
Yeah,
and that was a week's worth of mayhem.
Yeah. Oh, dude. So, even speaking of that, because every once in a while we would have to go with water balloons, and it. Not that we didn't mind it. It was the filling them all up, and and the way every third one you would break, and by the end of the night, the faucet of your parents' house had like 170 rubber rings around the top of it because you broke so many water balloons on it. Yeah. But dude, kids are so spoiled nowadays. Have you seen the 100 water balloons?
They have self-filling water balloons, do they?
They're not technically self-filling, but it's one little nozzle that you attach to the hose or to the faucet. You turn the water on, and there's these little plastic tubes. The water disperses into 100 different balloons.
No,
dude, you've honestly not seen this?
I've not.
Okay, so there's all these little plastic tubes that come down. The water disperses into all the water balloons, and there's already rubber bands on them.
No.
All you have to do is pull it off that little rubber tube, and you have 100 water balloons ready to go in 30 seconds.
No.
That's
junk.
Trust me, I know, because as a 38-year-old man, looking back on that, I'm like, why didn't we have this when we were kids? Like the destruction we could have done with that amount of water balloons in that short of time. The only reason why nothing ever really got damaged or broken or kids got soaked because it took so long to fill up the water balloons. By the time you were done doing that, it was nearly time to go inside. So
wow,
yeah, man. Oh, it's a different world, Todd. It's a different world.
Totally different. That is a totally different world.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when we were moving my mom out of her old house into her new place, we were cleaning out the garage, and I came across a pack of them, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, throw those out." I was like, "No. Like, why would you ever?" This is one of the greatest things that has ever been made in the past 25 years. Why would you just throw that out? I will take them with me. I will fill them up. I will use them.
Wow. By the way, before we go off air, Big Ten's first loss. BYU, a 6 seed, beat number 3 Wisconsin, 91-89.
Oh shit!
I picked BYU to advance.
Did you really?
I did.
Good pick. That's going to throw a lot of people off.
I picked BYU to advance, and and I got Alabama's got to beat St. Mary's, and then Alabama's got to beat BYU, and that's my final four. MSU. I got MSU beating Auburn.
Oh yeah, that could not work out for you that well, buddy.
I don't know. The only team that really screwed me was Kansas. I had Kansas going all the way to the Elite Eight.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, that's why I'm losing to you, knuckleheads.
Hey, buddy. Hey, this was your idea. This is your idea.
I know.
And like I said, I literally copied over my.
You had Wisconsin. That actually your bracket is busted right there. But you had Oregon beating Wisconsin, so that doesn't hurt you too bad. I'm looking at your bracket right now. You picked Gonzaga to beat Houston. There's only a minute left in that game, and Houston is winning.
Ah, shit!
I think I'm getting ready to pull.
Ahead.
Pull even to you guys. You guys are both beating me right now, and you have Michigan. I love the fact that you have Michigan. If you win this whole thing, Corey, because Michigan wins the whole thing, I'm not going to be mad. I don't think you're right, but I'm not going to be mad.
Oh, I'm definitely not right for it. Because trust me, I knew it was a long shot. And again, your knowledge on college basketball is way beyond mine.
But that's the beauty. That's why for people out there who aren't sports fans, that's the beauty of March Madness. It actually doesn't matter. And I was telling Bob, I don't watch college basketball. I mean, like regularly, like on the weekends during the college basketball season. If all the sports are on, if it's between golf, basketball, or hockey, if it's Michigan or a team I care about, I'll watch basketball. And if it's hockey and it's the Red Wings or the Kraken, I'll watch hockey. You know what I mean? And the college game is Louisville and whomever, I'll watch hockey. And if it's none of that, and for my own personal reasons, I don't watch. I do like to watch golf just because I'm always amazed at how the skill that those guys have to play a sport that I love, and clearly I'm so far away from what they can do. But yeah, I'm a college and a basketball fan, but I'm not following anybody. I don't make a point of watching Michigan play through the regular season at all. I tune in when the tournament starts. And the other thing is, even with all that, the one cool thing about, and I think hockey is this way as well, and college basketball, I think more than most other, even professional basketball. In the college game, the matchups matter. That's why a 12 seed can beat a 5 seed, because it might be that overall talent is better on the 5 seed, but if the talent on that 12 seed happens to match up really, really well, and then the benches are even, because Michigan State's a bit of an anomaly, and why I haven't gone so far is the fact that they can play 10 people interchangeably and do well. That's not the case for 90% of college basketball teams. So the upsets typically happen because, geez, your big man who's dominated in the Big Ten is having to go up against a school who doesn't have a huge big man, but he's a great defensive player. There's a guy who's 3 inches shorter who plays great defense against big men for whatever reason. And all of a sudden, your number one guy is neutralized by this other team for that reason. And you get one hot player, your best 3-point shooter, they can upset anybody. That's right. That's why upsets happen in this. And again, I think the perfect analogy for March Madness is this: picking a perfect bracket. Even if you were a student of college basketball on these teams, picking a perfect bracket in the March Madness game tournament would be like being in the ocean, getting eaten by a shark, while at the same time you being killed by a meteor strike and struck by lightning.
So those chances are pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. It was like you'd have to be having one really bad day or one really, really, really amazing day to pick a perfect.
It's the same day that you win the lottery.
Exactly. Well, I think on the positive end, it would be like winning the Powerball Mega Millions in every city in your state's pick 3 on the same day.
Wow. All right. That's even a bit more than what I was thinking, but yeah, that's okay.
It's just the matchups, no matter how good a team is, if the matchups work out, and in this series, great players have off days on certain teams and vice versa. Great players on these small teams, if they happen to have a day where they can't, like the basket seems like 6 inches wider than it normally is, and they can't miss, you can't do anything. And especially in this age of the 3-point shot, because like I said, Michigan. The beauty part about why Michigan State is so good is they're the worst 3-point shooting team in the Big Ten, and they're the best team in the Big Ten. Arguably, other than Michigan having won the tournament, but. The fact that they don't shoot well from outside, and today they won and they stomped out Bryant because guess what? They shot really well from 3, and they did the things that they normally do, which makes them unstoppable.
Well, and so again, too, I'm not a huge follower of college basketball and all that, but Even watching the game today, like you saw, like, especially during the Michigan game, like they were always trying to set up threes. That's and unless it came down to a point where it really just wasn't going to happen, or if someone had already a good drive, that they knew they were going to make it, then they would go for the two. But it was a game of setting up threes. And
yeah, that's it's a big weapon. But at the end of the day, that's the other beauty part about basketball. You can be back before even this era. There was a team, Loyola Marymount, which was one of I think during their heyday, they were the highest scoring college basketball team in the nation for like several years, and they averaged well over 100 points a game, which is unheard of in college.
Oh, definitely.
The game is shorter,
Yeah.
but that they were like the run. Every play was a fast break. Everything was a run, and then three pointers, run either running the floor to get a layup or 3 pointers, but very, very fast pace of basketball. So they were the best conditioned basketball team, and they did great at that until people figured out how to stop it. And now you have all these long freaking European players coming over here, and so now you have 7-footers who can shoot 3-pointers. And so you're right, the 3-point line is absolutely a thing. But like I said, Michigan State, they shoot less than 30%. So less than 3 out of every 10 shots they shoot from the 3-point line go in all season long, and they're beating teams.
But again, if that's their game plan, and they have a solid game plan, obviously, then yeah, that's what you go with. It's just kind of like,
well, it does. There's a lot of teams who try to do that, and it doesn't work out for them. And
definitely, yeah.
And I think the thing that highlighted today, Michigan State is very unique, and that the reason that they have, especially in this age, one of the other, you've heard me complain about this during my sports segments before. College sports are a bit ruined because it used to be transferring from one university to another was a pain in the ass, and you used to have to sit out for a year. Now at the transfer portal, you can go from one school to another every year and play the next year. You don't have to sit out at all. In many ways, I think that's ruined the sport because it's all about the money and players playing very short term and teams not coming together. And in this age of basketball where they're doing that, what you're seeing now though is it doesn't matter if you assemble the best 12-player roster, they got to be able to play together. And there's only one ball and only 5 guys on the court at a time. So to get a team where people who are really good and could start at 80% of the other universities in the country are willing to sit on the bench and come off the bench, that's unusual, but it's extraordinary, and that's what makes Michigan State really good. They have 5 guys sitting on their bench that legitimately could start at universities with high-quality basketball pedigrees. That is what makes Michigan State a special team in this tournament. And again, you can't pick that. That's not something that by watching college basketball you can necessarily pick and say, "Oh, this is going to work out great for them." And one last little nugget before while I'm on my March Madness pedestal.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you know who a bench warmer on Sparty is that I absolutely love because he looks just like his dad?
I have a name in mind, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to make myself look that dumb.
No, that's all right. Tell me.
No. Okay. No, who is it?
Nick Sanders.
Nick Sanders. All right, hang on. Now I got to look up. So his dad played in the NBA?
Nope.
Just played for State?
His dad did not play for State. His dad played for Oklahoma State.
Okay, so Nick Sanders, a little Asian looking. All right. And so he's a junior?
He's a junior. There you go. Look up his bio. Who's his dad?
Nick Sanders, men's basketball. Nope. So this would still be junior. Oh, wait, hang on. Nick Sanders, son of Barry Sanders.
Indeed.
The Barry Sanders?
The.
No shit.
No shit.
Huh.
And he's a bench sitting mofo. He got to play today because Sparty dispatched with Bryant. But yeah. And he looks just like his dad.
Now
just like him.
Now that I see I saw the face and I connected the two, yeah, yep. he does look like him. Dude, but he's a basketball star, not a football player.
Well, I wouldn't say he's a star. I think he's an amazing story. He's a walk-on who made the team, who's potentially could win this thing. Again, so he's one of the most talented athletes in the country on one of the most talented teams in the country for a sport that his dad ain't famous for. And even again,
good for him for forging his own path and
100%.
Even though he's not a first liner or whatever. Hey, good for you. That's because I think too, had he just gone the football route, and had he not been that good, people would have obviously really gotten down on him. And like, oh, your dad's Barry Sanders. Like, why aren't you a good football player?
Well, Barry Sanders' oldest kid is Barry Sanders Jr., and he played college football. And the weird thing about that is, I think that again, there's some anomaly there. Steph Curry is one of the greatest basketball players in the NBA's history, right? He's in the conversation with Michael Jordan. I think his legacy is up there. He's one of the best players the NBA has ever seen. His dad was also a great player, but a guy who came off the bench who could score, Del Curry. But in football, Walter Payton's son played college football at Miami. If he made it to the NFL, he didn't do much there. Barry Jr., again, but I think two of his other two boys played football, but neither one of them are him. And that's the weird thing about football. The running backs, kids, and even the only kind of kid, the best name, most high profile kid, I think like Hall of Fame level, Ed McCaffrey from the Denver Broncos, kid Christian.
Oh,
I think a Hall of Famer. So,
I'm familiar with that.
But again, not a running back. It's the same thing. Michael Pittman's kid is a great receiver, not a running back. But yeah, like I said, you would think that Barry Sanders' kids would be great running backs, but that hasn't been their play.
Forte.
It's like Walter Payton's kid. I think it's an unfair thing. They got their genes, but they need so many other things to work out for them to be even close.
Right. Oh, that's great. Thank you for that fact. I never would have known that. Much appreciated.
Hopefully all the stuff doesn't get cut out of this episode.
So
most of the porn talk probably will, though.
Oh, that better not. That was one of the best stories of the night.
Maybe. Hey, topic: boogers and porn. That's got to be clickbait. Boogers and titties.
I'm going to say let's go with boogers and porn before boogers and titties. I don't know if YouTube would definitely, if they like boogers and titties. I think that video might get taken down very quickly.
Titty boogers.
Yeah, that also, I don't, just because you switched them around, Todd, doesn't make it okay. That's not how that works. I think it's just the word titties itself is the problem.
Oh, then I got one. Booger breasts.
All right, that could fly. That could fly. Yeah. For all those guys out there that when you pick a hot one at night and you rub it in between your loved one's titties, then
put it in the underboob to cook a little bit.
Oh. What? See, now I'm questioning Todd, because that sounds like that was from experience, not just something you just came up with on the spot.
You got to cook them a little bit.
Hey, listen, I don't have time to go outside and fire up the big green egg.
Oh man,
Mary's underbreast is hot enough. I can put it right in there. Cook it in 26
I
seconds.
did not say Mary. You are the one who's going to bear the brunt of this.
No, I was talking about Mary Magdalene.
There you go.
That's
You better,
yeah.
You better. I was going to say you better fix that. Edit that out.
That's I will go make sure I bleep that first name out. So we'll take care of that. But yeah, man, it's been a great episode.
Great show, man.
I love you, brother.
Love you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we'll be back.
Where's Bob? Where's Bob?
Oh,
Why
shit.
wasn't he here?
Did he not? I thought he came out at some point.
Yeah, he disappeared. He must have gone to the jig. He must have gone to the jiggly room.
Oh, okay. See, now that's well, since Bob's not on, thankfully his significant other is not currently watching. As far as I know, she's not currently watching. But Lori, I assure you, he's probably not at the jiggly room. If he's in a jiggly room of any sorts, it's Krabby dancing over his bed, and that's that. So, all right, guys. Until next week. Love you.
Love you, man. See you next week.
You got it. And we don't have any outro music, so we're just gonna have to add it in post. So
5,000 G.
Little bit of silence.